Welcome to A Well-Designed Business with your host, Luann Nigara. Luann has a lifetime of experience building a multi-million-dollar business with her husband and cousin, and she knows the challenges you face in your interior design business. Luann brings you real-life answers to your most pressing problems, as well as practical strategies to explode your interior design business. So, let's get to the business of interior design.
Hi, welcome to another episode of A Well-Designed Business. Today we're going to meet Leslie Carruthers and Sam Henderson. These two industry pros are the brains behind Savour Partnership. At Savour Partnership, they create magazine-quality, custom-branded e-publications for your website or blog. This means they create opt-ins and lead magnets for you so that you can attract and grow an email list. And if your eyes are starting to glaze over when I say grow your email list, I'm begging you, hang on. These two are experts at this, and they're going to explain exactly why it's important for the health of your business to grow your email list. Now, a little bit on the background of each of them. Sam Henderson is the owner and creative director of Savour Imagery, a food and lifestyle creative studio located in Dallas, Texas. He and his team create photography, video, and graphics for many national brands and media outlets. Sam uses his knowledge of food, lifestyle, and travel, along with his experience as a designer, to create content for HDTV and DIY Network. He also writes a weekly article on design trends. Now, Leslie is the CEO of Kaleidoscope Partnership. She has more than 37 years' experience in the luxury home furnishings and interior design industry. Her company celebrates its 15th year this year, and she pioneered the use of social media marketing and influencer marketing nationwide. Leslie has helped build the brands of major manufacturers, retailers, software providers, individual interior designers, and trade shows through her website, her blog management work, social media, and content marketing. Brands like Hadley Court, Wilson Kelsey Design, 4 Point Design Build, The New Traditionalists, Meredith Corporation, World Market Center Las Vegas, ICFF, and more than 35 others. Leslie is a frequent speaker at industry events, and she is often quoted as an expert resource in national publications. For 9 years, she wrote the Retail Ideas column for Furniture Today magazine, and her microblog at TKP Leslie has more than 36,000 followers, and it was named by Decorex as one of the top 100 most influential interior design blogs in the world. Now, together, these two are the co-founders of Savour Partnership. And right after I tell you a little bit about CuratedCravat.com, I'll be right back with Leslie and Sam. I'm so proud to tell you that our podcast is sponsored by Cravat Inc., featuring CuratedCravat.com. You know, because I've told you a million times, that I've been a Cravat customer since the early 1980s. And the truth is, I can't say enough great things about Cravat Inc., except to tell you that now there's CuratedCravat.com. At CuratedCravat.com, they work so hard to source high-quality items for you and for your clients. And they really do make it very easy to find that unique piece to complete your interior design project. Do you know what a couple of my favorite parts are? First, it's trade only. That's right, they have your back at Cravat Inc. Second, they have no minimums. Isn't that awesome? And third, the ordering process is a snap. Design, click, delivered. It's so easy. You need to visit CuratedCravat.com today and be sure to use your discount code, CKPodcast. You get to use that code for one order and you will get 10% off that entire order. CK Podcast at CuratedCravat.com. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Sam. Thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, Luann. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
Hi, Luann. Happy to be here.
So I'm a little awestruck here because you guys are two kind of titans in our industry. So I, of course, was very familiar with both of your names, just having done a lot of research in the last year and a half for the podcast. And it's sort of like, oh, there's Leslie and there's Sam. And then when we got connected in the last couple of weeks because of your new company, the two of you have formed, Savour Partnership, that I just described in the introduction, it was a reason for us to actually connect connect. And the funny thing is I only knew the tip of the iceberg of what you two have actually accomplished, each of you, in your own careers. And so now it's like, whoa, there's a lot to talk about here. So thank you for spending your time with us. Let's talk first a little bit about let's talk first about this Savour partnership. We're going to weave in lots of information, but Savour partnership is a company that you guys have come together to do, and you're creating magazine quality, beautifully designed, custom branded e-publications for interior designers that have websites and blogs. And the goal is obviously to elevate the brand, to help the interior designer elevate their brand, and to also, if they're interested, develop avenues for passive income. So that's sort of a mouthful, right? That's a lot of information, and anybody that's not really familiar with this sort of end of the business, of any business, let alone interior design business, just went, what are we talking about here? So why don't you give us the basics of what that is? Because then what's the understanding of what it is, I want to ask you all the reasons why a designer should care about it. So who wants to start off with the little, blurb about what it is in, full layman's terms, what you're doing for us?
I'll be happy to do that, Luann.
Okay.
And hi, everybody listening. It's so great to have you here. Thank you so much for giving us your time. So what Sam and I are doing with Savour, and that's spelled Savour partnership, is helping designers and other creatives, if any of you listening are photographers or in another creative field, elevate your brand online through having beautifully produced editorial quality e-publications that live on your website and blog. And what that really means in layman terms is having something that when someone is encouraged to give their email address to you, they get something of value back. And that an e-publication is just simply a downloadable PDF that lives on your website or blog that they get when they give you their email address.
Okay. So that's a lot of designers do have that. A lot of designers have an ebook on, 10 ways to accessorize the bookshelf, or the top 3 paint colors that would be fabulous in almost any room, right? These are the types of things. And so what's happening though is with your background in copywriting and promotion and helping people produce successful blogs, you're combining it now with Sam's background in videography and photography. And of course, as I said in the introduction, your wheelhouse, Sam, is HDTV, DIY Network, all of these really high level, high quality outlets that we are accustomed to the most professional presentation of whatever our product and service or brand is. And so you guys are combining and bringing this, warehouse of information in each of your brains together, right?
That's correct. That's
okay.
Exactly right.
Okay, so I like it. Okay, so I think there is an understanding of what's happening. I mean, look, WindowWorks has an ebook, okay, but I created it in a Word document, and is so rudimentary. And my social media team, who is amazing, but doesn't really have like the wheelhouse of HGTV. I'm just going to say, and isn't from the design industry. So I have looked at your work. I've looked at the things that you've been putting out in social media over the last several weeks. I looked at the contrast of what you've done for Carla Aston, and I can see that it's a game changer, this level, this quality. It does. It feels like a national magazine level quality of work. And so that's exciting. Okay. I love that. That's very exciting because as designers, maybe the portfolio looks really fabulous, but then your ebook is sort of like the stepchild of the website. So that's really interesting to know that there's a resource now. But let's talk about, you guys, why do we want to tell, how do we want to convince an interior designer listening that it's worth the trouble to sit down and write an ebook and offer it for their prospective clients? Who wants to take that?
The reason why is simple. First of all, if it is something that is a free download to build their email list, building your email list for all of you listening is very important for one really strong reason. Emails are a sellable business asset whenever you go to sell your business. If you go to sell your business. So that's a very valuable asset to have a well-developed email list. Secondly, when you have a well-developed email list, obviously you can send those people your blogs and or your e-newsletters, and they've actually opted in to receive whatever information that is you want to share with them. So within those blogs or your e-newsletters, you also can embed, if you would like, and this is part of what we offer, affiliate marketing links. And we can talk about that just a little bit later, but that allows you to generate passive income, which is basically income, money that you make while you sleep.
Right.
So it's a great way to layer in more income to your business, as well as to create a valuable business asset later when you go to sell your business.
Okay, so what do you think about this? So I understand when designers have had the success of developing a large following with a really successful blog, much like Sam's blog, Today's Nest, right? It's an amazing blog. It's a lifestyle blog. It talks about food. It talks about design. It talks about entertaining and travel. But what if a designer is listening and thinking, I'm not interested in being a Sam Henderson and having a Today's Nest blog. Would you say to an interior designer that would push back with you on that? Would you say, but there's value in having even a blog with, your 25 friends and family and your 400 people on your Facebook, connections on it? Like, is there, I understand, forget aside affiliate marketing, but is there branding value to it? What would you say if they had no desire for that to turn into a business of itself?
I would say that you don't have to have a blog. So I want to, any of you listening,
right
I want to say that it's not right for everybody. Not everybody.
Because it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
It requires real commitment.
Yes. It's like a whole nother job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like having a podcast, by the way.
Yes.
So, and I would say that Sam and I were even just discussing this morning, how he's turned his comments off on his blog just because he simply doesn't have the time to handle the volume of comments that he was getting.
Right. Okay, so we're not restricting this to just blogging then. We're talking about, so what are some of the other things? Somebody might just have a downloadable PDF that now, instead of being like a Word document, is created by Sam in this amazing, beautiful format. And it just is the top 10 gray colors that are trending right now or something. And that's a way that a designer might have something on their site that's downloadable, that captures an email of a potential client or subscriber or consumer, that doesn't have to be as big and involved as doing a weekly blog.
That's right. And I think it's a really appealing way for a lot of designers, or probably a lot of you listening. You're thinking, I always thought I had to have a blog. So right. I want to say something. Having a blog is important still from the search engine optimization standpoint. And Luann, if you want to talk a little bit later about that, we can. There is value in having a blog from the SEO standpoint. And there is value in having a blog if you like the idea of blogging, simply because blogs are also sellable assets. If you do develop your blog up and have a strong readership, you can actually sell that to a larger publishing company later on if you want to have that as a goal. So those are two reasons why you still may want to consider having a blog. In addition, having a blog allows you to put content on it that is sort of the moment and email that out to your email subscribers so they know what's happening with you. Like if you've been in a great, show house, or you have a beautiful new project, or you just want to share something really interesting for them that will help them live a more beautiful life. Blogs are of the moment information that can go out right away every day if you want to have one. So those are three reasons really why you still may want to have a blog. On the other hand, if you just don't have the time for a blog and really just don't like writing and don't want to do it, then having an e-publication as a download to capture email addresses is extremely important. Capturing email addresses is the most important thing any business can really do on a website, other than, secure clients. So that alone is the reason to have a really beautifully branded e-publication on your website as a download, so that when people subscribe, they get that.
And
Secondly,
again, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was
No,
going to
go
ask you a
ahead.
question about the e-publication, but I just wanted to clarify. And again, that doesn't have to be a 20-page book. It could be the individual topics that your clients ask you over and over again for your expertise on. And you just create the top 10 tips, this, the 5 best things that, right? It doesn't have to be involved, right?
Right.
Sam, do you want to speak to that?
No, I think she nailed it on the head. That's exactly right. Most of the ones that we have considered have all been very small, although we would absolutely be happy to make bigger books for people and even full-scale books if that's what somebody wanted. But in order to capture email addresses on your site, the best thing is just very short and concise, a really beautiful image on the front that people will be attracted to, and then let them get the meat of it once they get inside, with loads of ways for them to connect with you and all of the information they would need to stay connected.
Okay, I love it. So now, do you guys also talk? Well, I cut you off a moment there. Were you going to say another point, Leslie, before I start with my 9 million questions?
Well, I want to say, when you so to everyone listening, in these so the word book, you might be thinking of something that's like 20 pages. Having an e-download, an e-publication download on your website does not have to be a big production. So if you're thinking that this is going to be like 20 pages and oh my God, who's going to write it, and I don't have the time and it's going to be so expensive. No. We've made it extremely affordable, number one. And number two, these are 2 to 3 to 4 page PDF downloads. So this is not going to be made it extremely easy to help you get at what you need to do to create this. What happens, though, is that people, when they receive it, when they give you their email and they download it, they click that free download button and they see how beautifully it's done. It's a wow moment for them that you care enough about your brand and your presence online to give them something so beautiful. And these contain your images of your design work. So these are not something that we're pulling images in from other places. This is actually your own work that's in your own e-publication. Yeah. And we have 4 templates that we're working with that Sam, they are called traditionalist, designer, stylist, and architect. So we send you examples of what those 4 templates look like and insert the images. We help you understand how to write the copy, which is very easy. And once that's done, you have something that's really, really beautiful on your website that your guests get when they give you their email.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. If I understand the 4 templates, I understand the concept of it, and the first thing that goes through my mind is, if 10,000 designers buy this and do this service with you, does 10,000 designers all look the same? I mean, is it still, when it's all done, feel unique to each one? I recognize there's very little opportunity, or probably very little instance, where a consumer is going to cross over and happen to take the same lead magnet from one designer to another, but you still, the whole point is you're talking about branding. So just talk about that, how you have a system that has templates but yet stays true to each designer having a unique look.
Sam?
Sure. So the first thing is, much like any magazine, even though it says, for example, Better Homes and Gardens across the cover, they all look a little different because you were working with different images on the front, and they've used different fonts for some of the text and all of those sorts of things. Right? So part of what we're going to do each time is discuss the client's own branding, whatever fonts they're using, the colors they're using. We'll pull some colors from the images, and much of the template even though it's set in a way to say, for example, we're going to have a grid on page 2, the grid isn't set in stone. So we can move pieces around, we can change all sorts of things, but the general idea of what they're going to get in each template is the same.
Okay.
So they'll get a page that is a grid, which is perfect for 5 top tips, and a page that is a full feature article page. How that article page looks will vary from client to client, again, based on their own branding and what kind of fonts they like to use and all of those sorts of things, just as it is in a magazine. But some of the elements will remain the same. So in some magazines, the template is for the magazine itself is very clean with thin lines between things, etc. And other magazines don't use any lines at all. So we tried to stick with the feel of some leading national magazines, but the content itself and the fonts that we use and where the photos will go, all of that stuff will be changed based on the client.
Okay, that makes perfect sense to me. So the analogy would be when you work with somebody to develop a new website for you, they'll send you the templates of the website. So it just means that headers are here, testimonials are there, copy is there, but once you put all the elements in, it's all true and individual to you as the person whose website it will ultimately be. So that makes sense. I like that. Okay, I like it. Because, if questions like that, if I leave them unsaid, then I just hang on them all and I'm like, well, I'm not sure about that service. So I'm glad that I asked it, and I'm glad that your answer made complete sense. So, all right. So now what would you say now? So for instance, I think we're pretty well convinced that it would be really fabulous to have something so professional go out to each of our people that get on our email list, because I'm already just like, wow, that's awesome. But my question is, for somebody that is listening, and maybe it's it could be somebody who's in business 20 years and has never really been convinced to develop an email list, or it's a brand new designer, a millennial who knows darn well it's important. But is it the chicken or the egg? Do you feel that the designer should consider, if they have a 0 email list, developing the products and making a certain level of commitment to expense for this stuff, and then going about and trying to entice people to join the email list?
Well, I don't think there's any more valuable asset that you can have as a business than an email list. So I do want to start with that. That is just the number one most valuable asset you can have for any business.
Okay, so every time we do business with somebody, we need to get there. And I believe me, that's my record, my broken record in WindowWorks. I look at every invoice. I'm like, where's the email? Oh, no. Where's the email? Where's the email? Why don't? Oh, well, this. No, I don't want to hear it. Where's the email? So yeah, I agree. In your day-to-day transactions. But a lot of interior designers, WindowWorks is going to have 200 customers this month. I have 200 opportunities to get emails, and I probably have 100 opportunities to be upset with my staff who didn't collect them, okay? But, interior designer is not really going to cross paths with 200 clients in this month, let alone in a year. So how do you educate them, and do you give ideas on how to go about growing an email list? I mean, so you have these beautiful products and we have them and we take the time to develop them, but do you have the expertise in that area that you can share with us as well, or is that a whole different guest?
No, it's actually, I'm so glad you asked that question, which I know is a canned response, but I really am, because we have been talking about just exactly that. And given my background, I definitely understand how to help someone grow an email list or, grow traffic to their website. So I want to say that is key. What you've hit on, though, you must, in order to grow your email list, you have to grow traffic to your website and or your blog. 2 different things, even though your blog can live on your website and vice versa. So you do have to understand how to do that, or else it really won't be it's still valuable to have emails when you go to sell your business. But if you want to start, let's say, generating some level of passive income from your blog or your website, then yes, you must understand how to drive traffic. So we are going to be creating a Facebook group ourselves called Savour Partnership, and it is going to be about ways to drive traffic to your website or blog. Okay. So its purpose will be that. And I know that there's a lot of designers listening that have different groups, which is great. If you'd like to, join ours, we welcome you to it. And I have been generating traffic for my interior designer clients, for many years now to their websites and blogs. That I'm very well educated in how to do that. And I want to say to everyone listening, one of the key ways, a top tip right now, is what's called rich pins on Pinterest. And I won't go into that here in depth because it's a whole topic in and of itself. But if you're not using rich pins on Pinterest to drive traffic to your website or blog, you're missing out probably on the #1 traffic driving opportunity you have.
Can you give us a little bit of just a little bit on what it is and how it works?
You know what? It's quite technical, but
Okay.
I have written a note, capital NOTE, on my own business's Facebook page,
Okay.
the Kaleidoscope Partnership. And if you will click on that note, it actually goes into detail about exactly how to set up a rich pin and what it does. And I will be repurposing that note Facebook group for Savour Partnership.
Okay.
So all of you listening, just look for that over the next, by this weekend, I would say.
Okay.
And you'll see exactly how to drive traffic using rich pins on Pinterest. You must sign up for rich pins. You will need to have your web developer put a little bit of code into your site for rich pins. So right now, if they're not rich pinnable, you're not capitalizing on the #1 way to drive traffic to your website or blog.
So I can hear that whole discussion might be a little bit technical, and I'm so thankful that you offered for us to go and find the full information and the explanation of it on your blog. But you guys, is there something that we could share, that you two or one of you could share with our colleagues today on some 1, 2, 3 tips on how you would drive traffic to your website?
Yeah, sure. I would say, without a doubt, even if you're not using rich pins, get on Pinterest and use Pinterest for if you're writing a blog. This is the best way. That I can't think of a better way to get people to go to your site. If you've got good images, put them on Pinterest. Make sure that you're using good information in your file names of the photos and also in your descriptions so that it gets picked up in the SEO language. And then once you've done that, make sure that on your blog you have photos or the buttons that are enabled on your blog for people to pin easily from your site. That, without a doubt, has driven more traffic to my site than anything else.
That's amazing. See, because I have to say, I really feel like Pinterest has, well, of course, I understand and know that it's a huge, huge platform. It's not like I think it's dying out or anything like that. But in a year and a half on the podcast, I don't think 2 people have said the word Pinterest, and everybody seems all about Instagram and, even Facebook more secondarily, I would say. And so it's interesting. You're just making me think we're missing a whole boat on Pinterest here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it works, how other people operate, but I will tell you, I write pitches 3 times a week at least, and every pitch that I write begins at Pinterest. That if somebody tells me that they want a kale salad recipe, that's where I start, and I build my ideas from there. It's an unlimited resource of everything you could possibly want. And I think now, when Pinterest started, it probably was more of a great place for designers to gather, because that's mostly who was on there, and curate their ideas, and a lot of people weren't even looking at them. And then in time, it became almost like a Google search engine. I mean, when people want to know how to make something or do something, that's where they go.
Interesting. You're right about that. That's so true.
And I would say this too, a lot of designers, and I understand this because I love Instagram too. So I know a lot of you listening love Instagram, but this is about driving consumer traffic.
Right. It's true.
So,
I agree.
yes.
I think you're right, because for me, it's perfect because my target demographic is the interior designers. But I have to say, a lot of times when I'm on Instagram and doing my daily half hour in the morning and half hour at night and posting and commenting and going around and looking, I'm thinking to myself, it's all of us. it's all of us in the industry. Like,
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, I think to myself, their images are amazing. It's good for support. It's good for validation. But it seems like it's always us in the industry commenting and supporting and validating each other. And I don't feel like I often see, because to me, when I see somebody comment, if I don't know who they are and I click to it, every once in a while you'll get this account is private. And so then my first brain goes, oh, that's a person. That's not a designer. In other words, designer are people too. I know, but I'm just but I mean, the truth of the matter is that might happen 1 out of 30 times that I click on somebody's profile. And so I often think that to myself. I'm like, this is great for me because this is my pool. This is where I want to swim. But how are they earning business? And then I have had guests on the show, more knowledgeable than me, say that it's a great place for a designer to be found by the HGTVs and by the Better Homes and Gardens and stuff like that. So that's where I have supported the value of them staying there and the value of them presenting a great looking brand there. But what you're describing is if we want traffic to our websites from that consumer, because again, I share that. See, I have consumer facing, I have B2C facing and B2B facing initiatives in my business, right? So, but if I were interested in that B2C, see, I've always looked at the Pinterest B2C as so big, so far away. Who the heck there is going to call me for window treatments from Pinterest? But I never thought about the value of just getting those consumers to my website, which then jumps my SEO value so that the lady in Livingston, New Jersey, when she Googles Roman shades, then I come up because my website is so robust and so tagged back to, right, you guys?
Right. Yeah,
oh
absolutely.
My goodness. Talk
That's
about
exactly
missing.
right.
Yeah, and the thing about Instagram too, Instagram is beautiful. It is wonderful.
Yes.
And it is really great for building your brand and where you stand in the world in design or whatever it is. But Instagram still isn't set up so that if I see a really beautiful post by you, I can click it and get to the page where you have that on your site and
That's
learn more
right.
about you.
That's right. You have to go back to the person's profile and then to their bio and 19 different things instead of just click through. I have to say, I just had an eye-opening moment here, honest to God. Honest to God. Really did. Because I got off the Pinterest train, I don't know, a year and a half ago. You know, it was just, well, first of all, because I say, you guys probably don't know this, but I say to everybody, and the people who are loyal listeners know, I'm not really the girl that's interested in the pretty rooms. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm interested in business and I'm interested in helping people grow their business. I'm interested in growing my own business. And so I am actually always very awestruck at what the designers out there are creating. And I do value it and I do appreciate it. And if I give somebody a comment that's complimentary, it's because I mean it. But if I were not doing what I'm doing, I would not be the girl that's scrolling through Instagram for images or Pinterest for images. So I didn't see the value in Pinterest for my business. And now every designer out there, I'm telling you, they're exactly right. It's, you know, getting maybe the person, maybe 25 people who come back to your website today from Pinterest are in all parts of the world, and they're never going to be your direct consumer, but the value is in beefing up that website traffic. That's amazing.
Well, and here's the beauty of the Pinterest thing. So you've written a really
insane.
beautiful blog post. Somebody clicks on it and they go to your website. And the second they get to your website, they see a lead magnet that says, hey, you want to follow
Be
us,
on my
get more information.
email.
And now you've got their email address forevermore.
Yes. Yeah. No. That's a very straight line that I had missed. I was on a detour. Good job.
And then I want to say, for everybody listening, that when they download that e-publication, after they give you their email, if you decide that you would like to do affiliate marketing within your e-publication, then every time someone clicks on a product link that's beautifully presented and authentically presented within your e-publication, you generate passive income.
Okay, so go ahead.
When you drive that traffic, consumer traffic, from Pinterest over to your blog or website, and they give you the email and they download your e-publication and they click on a product recommendation, that is money for you.
Okay, so talk to me about that. So just for explanation, in case anyone is unfamiliar with affiliate marketing is if you have a really fabulous, successful, well-trafficked blog, maybe there is a little click on there for I don't know, let's say Cutco knives, because I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I just listened to a podcast the other day and they were talking about that. Okay, so that means if that consumer came to your website because they got there from Pinterest, then they came to your website, then they saw your PDF about the 10 most fabulous, paint colors for 2017. There is an ad for Cutco. If they decide to click on it and purchase a Cutco set of knives, you get dollar bills back. So that's affiliate marketing. So
no. I'm sorry. So within the e-publications that we're presenting, so affiliate marketing is this simply, you go up, you sign up with an Amazon or a Layla Grace or Restyle if you do have a well-trafficked blog. But one of the things you said, Luann, you can have one person coming to your website. You do not need to have a huge amount of traffic to do affiliate marketing.
No. I think I agree with that, and I understand that. But if you have not a lot of traffic, that affiliate marketing isn't going to make you a lot of money. And then, so I see what you're saying. You're correcting me. I was saying that you had to have a bigger traffic in order to get a bigger quality affiliate. And that part you're telling me is not true. You can be an affiliate for anything you want. Okay. Right? That's what you're correcting me? Okay.
Correct.
Very cool.
Yes.
Okay. That is a distinction I didn't understand. I thought you had to have a thing. Okay. So, but the thing is, what I want to know is, where I was going with that is what types, if I'm not somebody that has 20,000 hits a day to my PDF, my digital download, my ebook, what types of affiliate marketing am I going to do that is of any value or consequence that's really going to generate some passive income?
And that's a great point. So you will not generate any passive income if you have no traffic to your site or blog.
Okay, so the point is it's something to reach for, that if you are doing all the other steps right. So here's what we're going to say. We're going to say, as an interior designer, it's important to have a very beautiful website that has engaging photographs and the right copy. Okay, that's bare minimum. This is what we should have as an interior designer to start with. Then what we're saying is that we should give very serious consideration to having these lead magnets, which it could be a single page downloadable PDF all the way to a 15-page ebook on my best advice for designing your living room. Okay. And so we're saying that could be, for the bare minimum is a website. You could set a goal for developing some of these PDFs or an ebook. And then you should have initiative. You should have a plan for driving traffic to that website. It starts with gathering every single email that you can from everybody that you do business with. But then we're saying we go one really great tip is to go to Pinterest and be actionable about putting your photographs on Pinterest. If you are blogging, putting your blog on Pinterest, making sure the links are all there. Get help with it if you don't know how to do it. And then what we're saying is we should be doing these things as interior designers almost no matter what. And so we're saying if we accept that premise, that really to have a solid business foundation for our design firm, that these things are a given, if by doing these and if they are successful and we operate them successfully, we are probably likely to grow our traffic, in which case, if we put the affiliate marketing there, at least it has the platform for it to turn into something. There's no bad side of establishing and putting the affiliate marketing. Is that what you're saying to me?
That is 100% what we're saying.
Okay.
Yes, you just nailed it perfectly.
Okay.
And here's another thing I'd like to add, and as you well know, Luann, and I'm sure a lot of you listening, that the product side of the interior design business is something that is in flux right now, that not everybody's very happy about. But again, as we all know, manufacturers more and more are looking for different ways to go direct to consumer with their product offerings. And having been in this industry for 37 years myself, I understand what that means to every interior designer. A lot of you have made a lot of money off of the product side and still want to continue making money that way. But I want to say, as you look 5 to even maybe 2 years into the future, or 5 years into the future, more and more the manufacturers are trying to figure out ways to not alienate you as a designer, but they are realizing they have an opportunity to go straight to consumer and sell their products. As you now know, that's happening on House, and it's just going to continue to accelerate. And manufacturers have to do that because they have to grow their businesses too. So what Sam and I recognize and realize and are trying to help all of you realize is that there is a way for you to layer in product income opportunities on your own websites and on your own blogs. And these are business assets that you own that nobody else owns. You're building up your own business this way.
Right.
And it's so even though you're still doing full-time interior design, by layering in this type of opportunity on your own blogs and sites, then you are still going to be able to make money on the product side and possibly even more money than you're making in your current interior design business. So it does take a little time. It's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight, but it's a way to prepare now for what's coming in 2, 3, 4, 5 years and certainly farther down the road.
So what you're saying is when you say the product side is in flux now, that's a nice way of saying that it more and more product manufacturers are cutting out the interior designer and offering ridiculous 10% discounts or no discounts at all, and or marketing direct to the consumer. So what we hear all the time is the designer saying they've put together a beautiful floor plan, they've suggested their trade resources for the different components, and then the client comes back and says, yeah, I just ordered it all at Restoration. Thanks so much. Have a great day, right? This is what we're talking about, right? Okay.
That's exactly right.
Okay. So what you're saying is that, and I just have to say, that's why I love curatedcravat.com. I have to say that right here because they don't cut you out, everybody. But what you're saying is there's more than one way to skin a cat. So what you're saying is if these other big national brands are going to undercut your part in that process, where typically the client had to go through the designer to get this product, and as more and more manufacturers and vendors are cutting that tie, you're saying if you have their affiliate on your site, you can then still get the piece of the action.
Yes, and you can get a lot of pieces of the action if you learn how to drive traffic to your website or blog.
Right.
And this is how a lot of fashion bloggers and mom bloggers are making 200, 300, 400, 500, and over $1 million a year. It is through this thing known as affiliate marketing. And I wish it wasn't called that because people just have so many different notions of what that is.
Yes. Yeah. And it almost seems like back in the day when it was what was the term for the Amway stuff? Multi-level marketing or something?
Yeah.
It's just even when you hear the term, you're just like, that's gross.
It sounds dirty.
Exactly.
Yes. And I want to be really clear right now, in case anybody listening doesn't know what it actually really means. All it is this. You go to a website, and let's just go with, Layla Grace, which a lot of designers know, beautiful site. You go to the bottom of their site, and it says, join our affiliate program. You click that, you fill out their information, and you get back a code, a snippet of code, and that is your affiliate code. So in your blog posts or in these e-publications that Sam and I are producing, we can actually place a product image that underneath that image, it is linked to that code. And I say image, that product that you love that represents something that you've talked about in the e-publication. And then when the consumer that's actually reading your e-publication clicks on that product, it actually takes them straight to, let's say, Layla Grace's site where they buy that product, and you make an affiliate commission on that. So this has nothing to do with multi-level marketing.
Right.
This is simply selling product. Bottom line, it's selling product on your website or blog. You're not making as much money as you would if you were selling it direct with a normal, margin. But if you layer this in both to your e-newsletters, to your blogs, to your e-magnet for your email list, as well as having e-publications on your own site that are for sale. In other words, let's say you sell a little e-publication like Carl Aston does right now for $5 on her site. So as soon as someone clicks on that, a consumer clicks, they are paying Carla the $5, so she has an income opportunity that way. And then when they open it and read it, and they click on a product recommendation, she has another passive income opportunity that way.
Right, yeah.
So
amazing.
This is what I mean.
And the floodgates are open right now. Because so many manufacturers and retailers want to use this program. If you're a design and lifestyle expert and you want to talk about bookcases today, and then tomorrow you want to talk about your favorite hand lotion, you can put anything you want in there that tells your story.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, it's just as you said, the industry is changing. Look, there's always going to be a need for interior design services. There's always going to be people who want to do beautiful creations and so forth. But the industry is contracting in a way that, like you said, you used to be able to sell your design services and sell the products. And that is getting more challenging to have the income from the sale of the product direct to the consumer. And so this is what you're suggesting is a way to bypass that problem. Of course, like you said, it's not as profitable to have a piece of the action. It is to have the whole profit margin on it. But if you have the piece of 50,000 transactions as opposed to 10 transactions, it sort of might overcome and make up for the difference. But the thing is, the message today is that none of it happens if you don't have something to trade for that email. That's really the bottom line. You have to have a website at the very minimum or a blog, either one, that is beautiful, is attractive, and you offer something to the consumer so that they hand over their email to you, because it's through that you are then going to be able to develop this passive marketing if you're interested in it. And to round it all around is that every one of us can go out there and do it ourselves, or we can find professionals like yourselves that will do these things, that we can pay your services to do them. And of course, your credentials in it, having been in the industry, Leslie, yourself, these 37 years, and Sam, with your background in the high level magazine quality production that you're doing, it is completely different than going to an SEO guy and having him make you an ebook. I'm just saying.
Yes, it would definitely be completely different. And in addition to that, I want everyone to know, because I'm sure everyone's like, oh my God, I really have no idea. Sam and I have worked really hard to make the onboarding process very, very simple. And in addition, Leslie, personally, I hold your hand through every step of the way, which means on phone calls, email, whatever. So you're not ever going to be in a position where you feel stuck. We're developing one of these e-publications right now for a designer in Connecticut, Sharon McCormick. Do you know her, Luann?
No, I don't. A matter of fact, I'm almost feeling like I might know her name through Debbie Pinelli. I might know that. I might know the name, yeah. I could be wrong.
Sharon, who's a very successful designer in Connecticut, has been doing design for a long time, and she's redoing her website right now. But we're also developing an email e-publication for her at this moment. So she had some questions about it. She wasn't quite certain. So I spent about an hour and a half on the phone with her, just really going over every question, helping her, making sure that she understood exactly every detail. And, she was just so excited about the outcome of that. I really want to say, if you would talk to her, if any of you listening know Sharon, you could ask her directly. But so we don't want anyone to feel like we're going to, take their money and run and they're going to have to do it all themselves. That's not what we're about. The template process is how we've kept the price really reasonable for the quality we're delivering. But the project management piece is something that's very, very hands-on.
Well, I can see that the quality of the product is really, like I said, for my own experience, and that's no diss to my guy. I love my guy. He's a great guy, but he's not an interior designer. He's not coming from the world that Sam comes from, and then your experience combined with it. He is an SEO expert. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, right. And of course, I'm in the industry, but I'm not a graphic designer. And I also, I'm the worst person because a lot of times I'm just like, okay, let's just get this out. You know what I mean? And then I look at it and I'm like, it's like, could have been better, but it's out. I was reading Carla's blog post about that. It was so funny because I completely related to it. For anybody listening, I'm sure most of our listeners are familiar with Carla Aston, but if you're not, please head over to her website, Carla Aston, and check her out. And she's got a great blog. And one of the posts that she did was about engaging with you, the two of you, and your services. And of course, in my research, I was reading that post, and she said the same thing that I went through. She was like, I knew I needed to have an ebook, la la la. She goes, and she was like, I even said I had just listened to a podcast that said, just do it, just put it out there. Something is better than nothing. And I was like, amen, sister. I'm right there,
Yes.
So my problem is I always say, let's just get it out there. We'll fix it later. And then I never go back and fix. I just keep moving along.
Right.
And so many people do that, Luann. And I also want to say for everybody listening too, and anybody who knows me knows that I have championed interior design and interior designers all of my entire life. So if you do know me, you know how very true that is. And really have the utmost respect for the artistic quality of the work you produce. I view interior design and interior designers as artists in 3 dimensions. And all of you who are interior designers listening, I know that you love nothing more than the consumer sort of just hands off, giving you their entire room to design and being able to have your creative vision combined with their vision realized in 3 dimensions. It's such a joy when that happens. It's a true, incredible joy when you create such a beautiful home for somebody out of something that they could never have imagined really for themselves. And that's why people hire you all, is because you have that artistic vision. And I want to say that's such an important piece of what Sam and I believe in, is really creating these publications that accentuate and elevate the artistry of what you do, because I believe it's really important for consumers to understand the artistry of what interior designers really do and how difficult it is to do what you all do every day, day in and day out. And I know there's probably a lot of you nodding your head right now.
Yes, it's so true. It is so true.
It's very, very true.
Well, and unfortunately, the more beautiful and the more effortless it looks, the less people tend to realize how much goes into making it look just so simply elegant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
It's very, very true. And the same
and that's the same with producing magazines and PDFs and any graphic arts. It seems so simple, and you think they've just moved a few fonts around and typed a couple lines and.
Well, that's true, Sam, because it is true. I mean, the little putzing that I do, I mean, oh my God, if you go to my Instagram feed and you see the rudimentary nonsense that I've created in the last couple of weeks on Canva, you'd probably like just to say, seriously, Luann, are you a grown up or what? But I am so 90 thumbs with it. And I will, everybody's like, oh, Canva's so easy, blah, blah, blah. There's only so much you can hire out, honest to God. You can't pay somebody to do everything. And I really am paying a lot of people to do a lot of different things. But every once in a while, like 2 weeks ago on a Saturday, and this will attest to what you guys are saying, you have to put something out there, ask for something, and it comes back. And you can't just put images out. You have to put a call to action out. And these ebooks and these PDFs are exactly that. They're a call to action for your consumer, for your target demographic to do something. And so I was sitting there on a Saturday 2 weeks ago, and I thought, I don't know what the conversation was, but somebody said something very similar. It was in the I think I said it to the person. I was like, well, when's the last time you asked them? And I thought, when's the last time I asked them? So I went to Canva and I created this thing, want to join our email list, text design biz to 444-999. Now, the silly thing is so basic and so rudimentary. And I'm going to tell you, it took me an hour to make. It would take you 30 seconds to do. It took me an hour. I couldn't, get the thing to move over. I couldn't get the list. And I was like, I literally wanted to throw my computer across the room by the time I was done. But the crazy thing is I put that out on Instagram, and within 3 days, we had like 28 new signups to the email list. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, yes. You might have to put up with this nonsense a couple more times.
It's amazing how it works. And what's wonderful is these are people, really, everybody listening, that really want to receive what you are communicating to them. That's a beautiful thing.
Right.
Think about that. They really are opting in to receive whatever it is that you want to share with them because they love your vision. They love your vibe, Luann, in your case. They appreciate the information you're putting out. They want to learn from you. So when people do subscribe to your email list, it's such a powerful tool to be able to communicate your vision and your ideas, and the ideas, in your case, Luann, of other people,
right,
out to other people. And in this way, we all help each other learn. In our case, we're really trying, I've devoted my life, and Sam has as well in a different way, to really helping elevate the conversation around interior design. And now what I see as a problem is this product piece and the income piece and the money piece. And we are all in business to make money,
right,
including Sam and I, of course. So by coming up with something that utilizes my talents, Sam's talents, the designer's talents, their images, your copy for all the designers that are listening. And if that part bothers you, just so you know, I do a lot of copywriting. Sam does as well. So, we'll help you with the copywriting if you need that. That is, I'd want to say up front, that's an additional charge, but we can do that for you if you need us to do that. So don't get stuck on that piece.
right.
But we really want to help you elevate your brand online, so the experience that people coming to your site and or your blog and or receiving your e-newsletters get with your brand is an elevated one that positions you as an artist in 3D in that way. And so that they feel elevated just simply by working with you. We also feel this will help you attract more clients over time as they see that the positioning, or that you take seriously the way you position your brand online.
Yeah. I think it's great. I mean, the truth of the matter is that we have discussed a lot of times on the podcast how whether it be a blog or whatever the device is a great introduction for a potential client to get to know you and to make the decision to pull the trigger to call you or contact you, because it is it's the personal element, right? When there's a blog, even if you can only muster once a month, it's just something that gives a potential consumer the idea that they do feel like they know you, that they already know what you're about and who you're about and what to expect. I've had designers on the show say that they have had clients find them, however they find them, then they go to their website, of course, and then they have read a couple of blog posts, and by the time they rang the bell for that first consultation, the clients have said, oh, I feel like I know you already. And that's awesome, because now you go from cold lead to warm lead, and all you have to do is do the rest right and close that baby down. You know what I mean? Right. So, yeah. and a lot of times, I mean, look, this discussion for me has been eye-opening in regard to my B2C. I have been neglecting my B2C for basically the year and a half that I'm doing the podcast. So not the actual direct sales, but the marketing of it in this regard. I've almost completely abandoned the digital marketing on my B2C. So for myself, I'm relating as the interior designers now. I like a lot of the things that you said. One of the reasons why I've hesitated to create some of these digital things for my B2C market is because I know that I don't have the skill set to do it beautifully, like I described in that Canva thing. And so, but with the podcast, I'm very proud of the newsletter that we have that goes out every Wednesday. And my social media team, I think, does a rock star job with that. But it's not inexpensive to do that, and I haven't made the commitment to devote that money to WindowWorks. WindowWorks is a 30+ year business. I'm sort of like saying, okay, you just got to support yourself over there for a minute while I build this thing. So, but I just think this is awesome because for an interior designer, image and branding is everything that goes out digitally, whether it's your house account, whether it's your website, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's your Pinterest, whether it's your Instagram feed. It has to reflect the aesthetic that you are aspiring to do, because we always describe how if it's high-end and it's polished, then that's who it's going to speak to, and that's who it's going to attract. If it's rustic farmhouse, then that's who it's going to speak to, and that's who it's going to attract. So there's no right or wrong in who you want to speak and attract, but understand what you put out is going to do that. And so I love that there's a way for interior designers to get in on this and know that they're in trusted hands with you guys, with your combined knowledge, yours in the marketing and the design support side for 37 years, and Sam, and you're in production, and the visual quality of things is really, and of course your experience as a successful blogger. So you guys have really got something exciting happening here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Definitely.
And we'd like to say, I'm sorry, Luann. Go ahead.
I was just going to give you an opportunity to say again how they reach you and find your services and so forth.
Oh, fantastic. So for anybody that would like to reach us, we have our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Savour, SAVOUR partnership, and our Instagram feed as well, which is Instagram.com SAVOUR partnership. So our email is savorpartnership@gmail.com. And if you'd just like to pick up the phone and call me, it is 713-705-2482.
Be careful with that.
That's
too late now.
That's Central Time. I'd also like to say two more things.
Yeah.
One is that I will actually be speaking at the Bold Summit in Chicago. And that's in September, and Sam will be there as well. We're also sponsoring that. That is the #1 forum for luxury designers and architects in the world. It's held once every 2 years. So if you happen to be going to the Bold Summit, you're listening, we would love to talk to you there.
Nice.
And yeah, so I'm excited about that. Julia Malloy is the founder of that. Do you know her, Luann?
Actually, what's really funny is I had a guest, Lynn K. Leonidas, a couple of months back, mentioned that she used a business coach and went on and on about how actionable she was, and I asked her who it was, and she said Julia Malloy. Then last week, I was talking with somebody, and they're saying the same thing, and I'm like, who is your business coach? And she says Julia Malloy, and Elaine McNabb it was. And I was like, okay, this is 2 times that this name has come up. And I'm like, what is going? So I just sent her an email last week saying, you're getting high marks on my podcast by your clients. I think it's time that we share your message with the rest of the world here. So I've invited her. We'll see. But now that, she's got this summit coming up, she might be too busy. But I put it out in the universe, and I'd love to interview her.
Oh, well, I will let her know privately, because she's a wonderful person, and I'm sure that she would love that opportunity to talk to talk with your audience as well. But one more thing, just to let everybody know, I personally, Leslie, do not have a blog, but I have written about 75 to 80% of the content on the Hadley Court blog, if anybody knows that blog, which is owned by interior designer Leslie Hendricks Wood. So I have worked very hard over the past 4 years with Leslie, and we have, built that brand and also driven traffic to her website and blog. So I really do invite you all, that everybody listening, to join what will be our new Facebook group, which is going to be just Facebook, groups /Savour partnerships, so that you can learn how to drive traffic to your site or blog.
Nice.
Because to your point, Luann, B2C, which is business to consumer, versus B2B, business to consumer traffic to your site or blog will be the key in the future to generating any kind of additional income opportunity off of all of this online publishing that everyone is doing. And I often run into interior designers that don't really realize that when they blog, they think the word blog, but they don't realize that they are actually an online publisher. They don't make that connection, especially for any of you that are listening that are new to the world. When you blog, you're publishing online, and that's just like you're the Huffington Post.
Right.
You can build your blog or not, but if you choose to build your blog into a blog that has significant traffic, that blog can be sold as a separate business asset.
Right. No, it's true. I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of people that love the day-to-day designing, and rightly so. But it is something that, like we said, it's just common sense and makes common business sense for you to have a website and to even feed it once a month with some content as in blog form in order for SEO. And if you're going to do that every day, every month, every year, in and out, while you're busy and so jazzed up about design, going to see clients and doing projects, in the 20 years of your career, if you just put the time aside to pay attention to that all the way through, when you get to be in 20, 30, 40 years, you might be like, oh, thank God I've been collecting these emails. Thank God I built this blog, because it is a sellable asset. You know what I'm saying? So just what you're saying. And so it's true. You need it anyway in order to be productive and profitable in business. And the payoff could be really something very special at the end. So I think it's a win-win. Absolutely.
It really is. And I want to say that just again, there are design bloggers right now that have only been focused on blogging for 5 years that are making on their blog over $200,000 a year.
Yeah, I know.
And they're not millennials.
Right.
So I want all of you listening to realize that this is a very real income opportunity for you, over and above the design work. So some of you listening, you just love design and you want to do it, and that's all you want to do. Some of you, if you feel a little burnout and you're saying, how can I take what I've been doing and all of my knowledge and experience and look at another way to create income for myself and or create additional income for myself? This is the way. Right.
Well, because there's different seasons of your life. You could have been in your 20s and 30s and single or with no children, and now you've been designing, and now you've got small children. So let me step back from all the FaceTiming with clients and let me now concentrate on the blog. Or you could be in your 50s or 60s and you've been hoofing it for 30 years, and you're like, it'd be really awesome to run my blog from Tahiti. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Awesome.
So there's different reasons and different seasons, but my bottom line is I always feel like I need to be the voice of the person. It's like, you're kidding me. I have one more thing I have to do, because I feel that way so often. It's like, that's a great idea. I have no time or energy to do it. And I'm just really, for the third time, just broken record saying, you really need to have in business your website and some sort of content that refreshes every month anyway. So if you just make a commitment to do that because you're doing your business, and let it grow organically, if you have no desire to be a blogger that's creating $100,000 off of it because you're really involved in what you're doing, you just do it anyway, because it's almost like running a mile every single day, and then all of a sudden after 5 years somebody says, do you want to do a half marathon with me? And you're like, well, I've been doing a mile every day for 20 years. I'm sure I could do it. That's what it's like. It's like, just be ready.
Right.
That's exactly right. And just position yourself for success. That's the key for whatever that might mean to you. Some people, success means very different things. It doesn't mean money to everybody. Might mean just,
freedom,
health,
time.
Yeah, freedom. And the freedom is what it really means to, I think, a lot of people. And that is what really we're trying to help people create is more freedom by layering in these different ways
Mm-hmm.
to make what's called passive income,
Mm-hmm.
and using all of the knowledge that you have, if you're a designer listening, to create that for yourself, just to create that freedom in your life over time while you're going about your daily design business.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody has, like you said, Luann, so perfectly, different seasons of life, different goals. Some people have teams working with them, some people don't. So that's a big difference too, because
Right.
if you're doing most everything by yourself, it's just
Yeah.
going to seem like, to your point, Luann, so much time to do all of this. Um, and I want to say, to that exact point, for all of you listening, it will probably take you, based on our intake process, about well, really depending on how good of a writer you are and how much content you already have, but maybe one Sunday to put things together for a 3-page PDF.
Mm.
And then we turn it around in about a week, or 2 weeks, or just depending on what our backlog is. So this is not a long, drawn-out process like developing a huge website,
Right.
brand new website. Nothing like
It's pull
that.
the
This is,
trigger and it's done. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's
Make a
really,
decision, commit to it, and a week and a half, 2 weeks later, it's out there live on your website.
Right.
that's right. That's really important.
That's
I want
very
people
cool.
to
I like that. That speaks to me. That's how I am. I'm like, oh, I can do this fast. Let's do it. All right. I was going to take a year. Forget it. I'll come back later.
Exactly. And the other really important thing to know for everybody listening to is, when you hear the word e-publication, this is what that actually means. That can be your blog is essentially an e-publication, but you're doing that yourself. We're not doing your blog for you. But an e-publication can be this download to collect people's emails. It can be a 5-page, 6-page e-publication that lives on your site that people can actually pay for and buy from your site. It can also be a longer ebook that we produce for you that is sold through Amazon. It
Right.
can also be a lookbook on your site of what inspires you, interspersed with your own images of your work. So if you want to present your site's visitors, your potential clients, with a lookbook, a portfolio of your work that's really beautifully designed, that looks like a little magazine, we can do that for you as well.
That's cool. I like that. That's very cool.
Yes, so there's lots of different ways to make this work. And then if you want to generate the passive income, in each of these e-products, if you will, can be embedded underneath the beautifully presented images that you choose as a designer, and or products, can be embedded your link back to whatever manufacturer or affiliate retailer you want to affiliate with. And another example of a beautiful one is Frontgate has its own affiliate marketing program. So if you want to write all about indoor-outdoor living, which is a really popular topic, and you want to link with Frontgate, you can then link with beautiful products within these e-publications to your Frontgate affiliate. And then every time someone buys something from Frontgate from your link, you're making passive income.
That's amazing. That's
Yes.
a lot of really, really good ideas. And I have to say, when we first talked about coming on the show, I had anticipated it being a Power Talk Friday. And because Power Talk Friday tends to be a little bit more, do this, how do you do it, and yada, yada. But I'm just going to explain to everybody listening why I opted not to make it a Power Talk Friday. Because on one hand, everything that both Sam and Leslie provide is definitely an industry service. It's a product, it's a service that you can avail yourself of. There's no question. And a lot of times that is sort of what's happening on a Power Talk Friday. We have somebody explain to us there's a method, there's a process, there's a device, there's a widget, there's a gadget that we should be using in our business. And that guess happens to also be the avenue to that product, service, whatever it is. With you guys, I decided to make it a industry show, a Monday, Wednesday show, because you both come from the industry and are so versed in the industry. And so that's how I want to leave this. I want to say to everybody listening, I hope that you have understood first and foremost the value of having a professional website that reflects your branding. I hope that you understand the value of creating single PDFs, full-on ebooks, whatever it is, in order to capture your email addresses from potential consumers, because of the reasons that Leslie stated why having an email list is so valuable to you. And also that you'd love that. I love that little tip about Pinterest, and it opened our eyes there. And also to, just say that, okay, yes, maybe you use the services of Savour Partnership. Maybe you don't. Doesn't matter to me. I think that they have done a really great job of explaining how this thought process and this opportunity to create these products for our websites will enhance our businesses. So I slam dunk. I think it's great. I endorse you 100%. But I more importantly, I endorse the concept of what you're describing here, and that's what we want to get across. So I think you did a great job explaining to us the need for it and the how it gets done and the why it should be done. And I really thank you both so much for spending your time with us today.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad that we got a chance to talk.
I am too, Luann. I just can't thank you enough. And I really, really appreciate all of you who are listening. Thank you so much. I know all of us might be a little bit, if you're brand new in the business, it might be, oh my gosh. But if you're not brand new in the business, I think you probably really understand what we're trying to communicate and how we're really trying to help you look to the future and where the opportunity is going to come from. So Luann, thank you so much for having us on. We certainly truly appreciate it.
Now, thank you guys. So, are you convinced how important it is to have an opt-in or a lead magnet for your interior design business? How about, are you convinced you need to be thinking about growing your email list? How about this? Are you at least convinced that you need a website? That's where it starts, right? In fact, a few weeks ago in a Facebook group, a new designer asked the rest of us. She said, I'm just starting out. I have little resources, and I'm wondering, should I tackle Instagram first or Facebook first or put up a website first? What's first? And we were all like, your website is first. It's the first thing you do, right? So I just want to tell you, too, this Friday, Power Talk Friday, Ian Kwa is with me, and he goes through the 12 most important criteria in setting up your website. So don't miss that. Okay, but back to Savour Partnership. Like I said in the show, having a website, working toward building an email list, these are basic foundations for your business. So do them, and do them at whatever level you can afford. Look back at some of my lead magnets, the things I learned from associated with the podcast, right? If you go back to the different shows, it's not everyone, but many of them I had the things I learned from that particular guest. Well, those were my lead magnets, right? And I'm pointing them out because when you go back and look at them, you will see that they are so absurdly basic. I mean, it almost borders on embarrassing, quite frankly. They're really, truly Word documents. Some of them in the later months, finally, I put my logo up there. But the point is that they're nothing like Leslie and Sam will create for you. But the podcast is a startup, just like many of your firms are. So what do we always say here? Do the best you can at the time you can with what you can, but do it. So if you have the budget, or you take very seriously your brand and you want to come out the gate with all the marketing and the branding consistent and high end and are willing to put that in your budget and make that investment, then go ahead. Get professionally made PDFs. And if you do, I suggest that you consider Leslie and Sam. Okay. Now, I just want to say, again, I'm going to be at Las Vegas Market. This is airing like literally 4 days before the market. So if you're listening to this in real time, please come see me on Monday at 4 p.m. at the Noir Showroom for the Designer Inc. event, Name That Vendor. And then on Tuesday at 2 o'clock at the Kravitz Showroom, the Midoma hosted event with Kravitz, and it's with me and Kelly Ellis for Design Uncorked. The Eventbrite RSVPs can be found on our website at www.windowworks-nj.com/podcasts. Okay. So, they're probably there on the To the Trade blog. So just go over to the website and you'll find the RSVPs. And another 4 or 5 iTunes reviews this past week. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't done yours yet, it would be really super swell if you did. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining me again today. Have an excellent day. Thank you for joining me again today for another episode of A Well-Designed Business. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks in Livingston, New Jersey, your trade resource for custom window treatments and awnings. Learn more about WindowWorks at www.windowworks-nj.com. All of our music is original music by Room 2 Productions. Please contact us if you want to learn more about original music for your business